Jumping can look effortless when done correctly, but it's getting to that point that can be pretty tricky, right? And one of the hardest things, I think, is judging speed for jumps. So don't worry, today we're going to look at just how you go about judging the right amount of speed for the right size jump. Before we get cracking then, we need to find a good jump to practice or learn on. Now, a tabletop is best, and a tabletop is called just that because it's a jump that is filled in. We don't really want to learn on gap jumps because if anything goes wrong, the potential for injury is, well, should we say, slightly increased. Let's put it this way, sometimes you're going to come up short. Now, what that means is essentially you're not going to jump far enough. You're going to land on top of the tabletop, like that guy, and sometimes you're going to go a bit too fast, and these tabletops are great. They're nice and safe because you almost make it. They've got a really long landing, so you've got plenty of sort of get out of jail free card. Look for a jump that you're feeling pretty confident on, pretty comfortable. You've hit it a few times, maybe you're not quite clearing it. But if you're finding a jump sort of for the very first time, if you're brand new to this, then bike parks like Bike Park Wales here are a great place because they've got a huge variety from tiny tabletops to massive doubles. We found our jump that we're going to hit then. Now, my first top tip is following another rider or watching other riders hit a jump. This can be a great way of actually visualizing just the technique and how much speed is required. Because for a lot of people, these will literally be jumps into the unknown. Being able to visualize and see other people doing it rather than just taking a leap of faith is actually a great way to maybe make that first hit. This is also going to help hugely with technique. So seeing a more experienced rider hit that jump for the first time could kind of give you like little tricks and tips on maybe do you need to pop a little bit, so you need to give it an extra pull out of the lip, how much kind of compression maybe if you're going to go a bit fast. If it's a really quick jump, this is actually quite a quick jump, so if you go too quick you can overshoot it. And also just sort of like kind of that technique, if it's like a dirt jumpy type lip or if it's a more racery jump like this one. You found your jump, you've watched some other riders and you're feeling pretty good, so it's time to hit it. Now, you're on your run in and you're like, am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? I don't know. Well, here's a great little hack. You can use objects to help kind of judge your speed. So hit the jump, nice safe jump. We'll hit this one, say. We might come up a bit short. You go, oh, stinker, come up a bit short. That's well annoying. So on my next attempt, I'm going to kind of take a mental note, if you like, of just how fast I was going. And I'm going to use sort of reference points, so how fast things are going past me. So obviously this can be quite tricky if it's sort of much more open jumps, if there's nothing really around. So that's where you're going to have to make more of a mental note, and kind of the repetition side is going to play in. So once you hit the jump, you might come up a little short. Then you think, right, okay, a little bit more speed, a little bit more, build up to it and sort of get that kind of internal, should we sort of say, memory and knowledge of just how fast you're going. It can take a bit of time, so perseverance is going to be key, but it is something that you'll sort of slowly pick up and learn. When it comes to judging speed, conditions or ground conditions can make a huge difference. So walk with me people. If your ground conditions look like this, look, on the run up to a jump, well, that's one, not ideal. It's probably worth avoiding those jumps in the first place. But two, it's going to run much slower. So wet, loose, soft conditions are going to require more speed to hit a jump because obviously they sap your speed. They just slow you down naturally. Whereas obviously the opposite, if it's bone dry, dusty, you're going to carry a lot more speed. So we'll take a jump as standard. Think of it, jump you've done loads of times. If it's really muddy and horrible, slippery coming into it, you're probably going to need to carry more speed to clear that jump. That jump in absolutely primo conditions, maybe you were putting a pedal stroke or two in before, your general rolling speed into it is going to be much quicker, much easier. You're just going to carry speed. So therefore, you're not going to need to have as much speed to clear the same jump. All right then, next up, when learning, is it better to overshoot or come up short? Well, that is a great question. Personally, I always think it's better to overshoot ever so slightly. Having more speed is generally preferable, should we say, to having less speed, especially when it does come to proper gap jumps. If you come up short in a hole, it ain't going to end in a nice way. Whereas generally long landings, you can get away with it a little bit. It's going to be pretty harsh impact on the body, on the wrists, the ankles, but I do think overshooting is slightly better. However, on a tabletop, like I said, it's not really the end of the world either way. I've touched on this briefly as well, but it's repetition. Yes, you can see where I'm going here, can't you, people? It's doing something over and over and over again. Now, this works obviously across all sort of skills in mountain biking, but in terms of sort of judging speed and having that internal speedo in your brain, it takes some kind of training to it. So, you know, if you're really coming up short, I mean, there might be a fear factor in there, obviously, but if you're sort of doing the same thing over and over again, well, it's not the end of the world. It just takes some time to learn. And it's building up that sort of trust process of just how fast you're going to really be able to build on it and adapt it. Because let's face it, you've got to kind of set a base. So you start hitting jumps at a certain speed and you want to progress up to a bigger jump. You then need to be able to sort of tell yourself, right, how fast am I going for this jump? Okay, I know that, and that was that distance. You then go, right, I need to go a little bit quicker. This is a bigger jump. It's something new I'm learning. So it does take time, and it can be frustrating, but it is something that you will develop, I promise. So what about hitting multiple jumps in a row? Well, it's all very well and good hitting this tabletop and you can almost clear it, over clear it or whatever. But what happens when you've got another one and another one? Well, in that case, you do need to start learning to hit that sweet spot, hit that perfect point in the downslope, because that is going to then give you the speed or generate the speed to then clear the next one and the next one. It's a knock-on effect. If you don't have enough speed to clear the first one, you're generally going to lose speed by landing heavy on top to not be able to clear the ones after. So that kind of knock-on effect does happen, unfortunately. So we're nearly at the end, and that means the last piece of advice that it comes to when judging for speed is, well, sometimes, sadly, you've just got to bite the bullet. I know it can seem scary, but I know you can do it. Sometimes you just got to hit it. After every bit of advice I've given to you, I know you can do it. I know you can clear jumps, and I know you can go plenty fast enough to do even bigger and scary ones. So good luck. Thank you also for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure to make this video for you today from Bike Park Wales. But for me, for now, I'm out of it. Let me know how you get on in the comments down below. What are your top tips for when it comes to judging speed on jumps? Do let me know, and I'll see you later.